Welcome to Agoracom's Small Cap Breaking News, your daily go-to source for the best small cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007.
Quite the resource.
It is. And we've got a stack of announcements today from companies making, well, some pretty significant moves. Our job, like always, is to pull out those key bits of information for you.
That's right. We know you want to get informed quickly, thoroughly. So we're going past just the headlines. We're focusing on the actual results, the financials, the drilling data, the stuff that's truly compelling.
The kind of info that makes you think, maybe I should look deeper into that.
Precisely. Think of it as a rapid-fire briefing. We want to give you those aha moments, that clear understanding of what's driving these companies.
Okay, let's kick things off in the biopharma space. Quantum BioPharma Ltd. They trade on the CSE and NASDAQ, symbol QNTM. And their headline today is pretty attention-grabbing. Quantum BioPharma advances multiple sclerosis drug with key manufacturing agreement.
Right. MS treatment. That's a huge area.
It is. So this sounds like a big step. What does this actually mean for the company and maybe for MS patients down the line?
Well, what's really fascinating here is this specific step they've taken for their potential MS drug, Lucid-MS. They've signed a deal with what's called a Contract Development and Manufacturing Organization, a CDMO.
Basically a specialized factory to make the drug.
Exactly, to produce an oral version for their upcoming Phase 2 clinical trial. And for anyone not living and breathing biotech, Phase 2 trials are critical. That's where you really start testing if the drug works in patients, not just in the lab or animals.
And they mentioned preparing an IND application.
Right, the Investigational New Drug Application. That's the formal paperwork you need to file with the FDA before you can start those human trials. So connecting the dots, moving from preclinical, animal studies towards human trials, that's a major value inflection point in biotech.
A point where the perceived risk drops a bit and maybe the value goes up?
Often, yes, because you're getting closer to proving it works in people. That's the biggest hurdle.
Now, you mentioned preclinical studies. What did those show? Because there are already MS treatments out there.
That's the key differentiator here. Those preclinical animal studies, apparently over the last decade, showed really promising results. Test subjects reportedly regaining their ability to walk.
Wow, regaining ability, not just slowing the disease.
Exactly. That's the potential game changer. Most current MS drugs work by modulating the immune system, slowing things down. Lucid-MS aims to actually restore mobility, restore function. It's targeting a different outcome.
So if this works in humans, what could that mean?
Well, think about the market. The global MS treatment market is estimated at over $30 billion a year. If you have a drug that could potentially restore function, not just manage symptoms, well, that could fundamentally change things.
You can see why this agreement is a big step then.
Definitely. As their VP of Scientific and Clinical Affairs, Dr. Andrzej Jakuszczynski, said, this marks an important step as we prepare the investigational new drug application with the FDA and prepare for our upcoming Phase 2 trial.
Okay, so one to watch in the biotech space. Let's pivot now. From biotech to bedrock, gold exploration.
Always interesting.
We're looking at Aurion Resources Ltd. They're on the TSXV venture as AU and OTCQX under AIRRF, their news. Aurion Resources extends high-grade gold mineralization at Kaaresselkä, boosting Risti property potential.
Sounds like good news from Finland.
It is pretty compelling, especially when you dig into the actual drill results from Finland's Central Lapland Greenstone Belt. They've extended the mineralized strike length by another 100 meters. It's now out to 1,050 meters long. Okay, so the zone where they're finding gold just got longer. What does that mean practically?
It means the potential size of the deposit is bigger. A longer strike length suggests more potential ounces in the ground. And they've confirmed this. Gold runs from near the surface down to about 250 meters deep so far.
And the grades, I remember seeing some eye-popping numbers.
Oh, yeah. The headline number is 4.42 grams of gold per ton over 32.55 meters. Now, for context, anything over maybe 1 gram per ton in an open pit scenario is decent. So 4.42 over that kind of width, that's really strong.
Very solid.
But then inside that section, there was an intercept of 72.80 grams per ton over 1 meter.
72 grams.
Yeah, that's what geologists get excited about. They call it bonanza grade. It suggests there are these incredibly rich veins within the system.
And what about the system itself? Did they find the edges?
That's another key point. The report says the system remains open in multiple directions.
Meaning there could be even more gold beyond where they've drilled so far.
Exactly. It signals significant potential for further growth. They haven't hit the boundaries yet. Plus, their metallurgical tests are showing high recoveries, over 93%, so they know they can get the gold out efficiently.
Seems like a strong result all around.
It really is. Their CEO, Matti Talika, summed it up well. The intercept of 4.42 grams per ton over 32.55 meters provides meaningful information on the potential for scale and growth. Results like this definitely put a company like Aurion on the map, especially in a good jurisdiction like Finland.
Okay, so good news on the exploration front. Let's switch metals now, from gold to silver and from exploration to production. America's Gold and Silver Corporation. They trade as USA on the TSX and USS on the NYSE American.
Okay, America's Gold and Silver.
Their headline is pretty bold. America's Gold and Silver reports surge in silver output and secures $100 million to drive growth. A 36% jump in silver production, that sounds significant.
It is. It shows a company that's really executing. That 36% year-over-year increase brought their consolidated silver production up to 689,000 ounces. And this wasn't just luck. It was driven by improvements they made at their Galena Complex mine in Idaho, and also progress at a project in Mexico, the EC120 silver-copper project.
So operational improvements paying off. What about the second part of that headline, the $100 million?
Right, the financing. They secured a $100 million senior secured loan facility with a group called SAF Group. They've already drawn down $50 million of that.
What does senior secured loan mean for the company and for you as an investor?
It basically means they borrowed money, and that debt is backed by the company's assets, giving the lender security. It's senior, meaning those lenders get paid back first if there are problems. For the company, it gives them a lot of financial firepower, flexibility to grow, without necessarily having to issue more stock right away, which can dilute existing shareholders.
Do they have the cash to execute their plans? Now, I saw something else in their release. Antimony. What's that about?
Yes, that's a really interesting angle. They did successful metallurgical testing at Galena and achieved over 90% recovery of antimony.
Antimony. Not a metal you hear about every day. Why is that significant?
Well, antimony is actually classified as a critical mineral, particularly in the U.S. It's used in all sorts of things: fire retardants, batteries for energy storage, even military applications. And the U.S. imports most of its supply.
So if America's gold and silver can produce it,
They could potentially become the only active antimony producer in the United States. That's a pretty unique position.
strategic advantage, maybe?
Could be. It might attract government interest, maybe premium pricing, secure contracts. It adds another potential revenue stream beyond just gold and silver.
Interesting. A critical minerals play emerging within a precious metals producer.
Exactly. The CEO, Paul Andre Hewitt, mentioned the debt facility gives them the flexibility to execute their growth strategy. This antimony potential could become a key part of that strategy.
Okay, very interesting development there. Let's circle back to gold exploration now. Founders Metals, Inc. They're listed as FDR on the TSX Venture and FDMF on the OTCQX.
Founders Metals, okay.
Their news. Founders Metals extends high-grade gold zone at Upper Antino, unlocking deeper potential. Sounds like they're drilling deep.
They really are. And the results are potentially game-changing for the scale of their project in Suriname. Their latest drilling confirmed gold mineralization down to 500 meters vertical depth.
500 meters. How does that compare to what they knew before?
It nearly doubles the known depth.
Yeah.
Imagine thinking you had a 10-story building, then finding another 10 stories underground. It completely changes your perception of the size.
Right. It suggests the whole system could be much, much bigger.
Precisely. And crucially, the gold grades are holding up at depth.
What kind of grades are we talking about?
Well, they highlighted one standout result: 46.0 meters, grading 3.59 grams per ton gold. That's in drill hole FR120. Again, nearly 4 grams per ton over 46 meters. That's a very strong, wide intercept. Shows good continuity.
And even deeper.
Yes, even the really deep holes hit gold. For example, hole FR115 hit 8.0 meters at 2.25 grams per ton gold, starting way down at 597 meters. So hitting decent grades that deep really underscores the potential for significant expansion downwards.
So the system has legs, potentially very deep ones.
It appears so. Their president and CEO, Colin Paget, pointed this out. He said the 46-meter intercept reinforces the continuity, and our deep drilling has nearly doubled the known vertical extent to over 500 meters.
And this is in Suriname, which is considered a bit of an emerging gold region, right?
That's right. Less explored than some other areas, which means there's potential for major new discoveries. These kinds of results will certainly attract attention.
Okay, one last stop on our small cap tour. We're heading to West Africa. Zodiac Gold Inc. trading as ZAU on the TSX venture.
Zodiac Gold in Liberia.
Their headline, Zodiac Gold expands mineralized corridor in Liberia with strong final drill results. Sounds like they're piecing together a significant system.
That's exactly what seems to be happening. These are the final results from their Phase 3 drilling at a target called Arthington. And what's fascinating is how these results help solidify a continuous mineralized corridor that now stretches over 1 kilometer.
1 kilometer long. And how does that fit into the bigger picture there?
Well, that 1 kilometer corridor sits within a much larger 16-kilometer long zone where they found gold anomalies. So it confirms a solid core within a very large potential area.
Scale potential sounds significant. What about the grades in these latest results?
Pretty impressive. They highlighted hole ADD033, which hit 18 meters at 4.67 grams per ton gold. And like Aurion, they also had a bonanza grade intercept within that, 1 meter grading 55.9 grams per ton gold.
56 grams. Those high-grade hits really catch the eye.
They certainly do. They suggest the system has these very rich portions.
And how consistent has their drilling been overall? Is it hit or miss, or are they consistently finding gold?
That's a really important question for exploration. And their success rate is actually very high. They reported significant mineralization in 37 out of 39 holes drilled so far at Arthington.
Wow, 37 out of 39. That's a very high hit rate.
It really is. It significantly de-risks the exploration, suggesting the gold system is quite robust and predictable, not just patchy.
Especially important in an emerging district like Liberia, I imagine.
Absolutely. You might have higher perceived risks in less established regions, but the payoff can be finding entirely new, large-scale deposits. These results build a strong case. Their president and CEO, David Cole, commented that they've confirmed these zones are part of a continuous system, filling in gaps and enhancing that scale potential.
So what's next for them, likely?
The logical next step would be moving towards calculating a maiden resource estimate, putting actual numbers on how much gold they think they have. That's a huge milestone.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground pretty quickly there, from potential MS breakthroughs
Aiming for functional recovery, which is key,
to major gold extensions in Finland and deep potential in Suriname,
with some really eye-catching high grades.
to a silver producer boosting output and uncovering a critical minerals angle,
That antimony aspect is definitely unique.
and finally building out a potentially large gold system in West Africa.
Yeah, a lot of significant developments across different sectors and stages.
These really aren't just headlines, are they? They're specific data points, drilling results, production numbers, financing deals indicating real progress.
Exactly. And for you, the listener, the key thing is seeing how these companies are hitting these critical inflection points. Advancing a drug to human trials, proving the scale of a mineral deposit, securing the money to grow, finding a unique market niche. Those are the details that give you real insight beyond the noise and help you feel properly informed about what's happening.
So thinking about all this, how might these different pieces connect for you? You've got biotech potentially changing lives, new sources of gold possibly coming online, shifts in silver, and even critical minerals. How might these developments influence broader trends, maybe even real-world applications in medicine or resources down the road?
It's worth thinking about. The small cap space is often where innovation and major discoveries begin.
Definitely always more to learn, more to dig into. We encourage you to keep diving deep. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.